Now, in today's dynamic, so many of us lead very stressful lives. We have stressful jobs, family life is stressful. There's so many things that can actually make our lives filled with stress. But we got to take a breather. We're going to find out how. We're going to take a look at the art of living. It's a transformational workshop, and today we get a closer look at it with none other than Mr. Dushyant Savadia. Hello, Dushyant.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Tell us about this art of living. What is it all about?
See, the Art of Living Foundation is an international, non-profit, non-religious, humanitarian and an educational organization which is established at the moment in over 151 countries across the world. And it was started by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar in 1981. And since that time, in the last 30 years, we've spread it out in the length and breadth of this world. And we've already connected with more than 300 million people across the world also, through our courses and service initiatives.
Now, initially, I'm getting the impression that the art of living is designed to help us reduce stress. Now, we got a lot of stress, not just here, but it's a global phenomenon. How are we supposed to deal with that in this very high-paced environment?
Yeah, you know, reducing stress to me doesn't do much good because you reduce it and it'll increase again. I would rather say we're here to contribute in eliminating stress. Find various skills, various ways how you can eliminate the stress completely from our system. Now, to understand this first, let's explore a little more with your viewers as well. What is it that creates stress in our system, first of all? Yeah. Now, if you notice, the mind have certain tendencies. See, for example, the first tendency of the mind is that it always oscillates between the past and the future. Now, if you notice, either the mind is in the past all the time, or the mind is in the future. Now, when the mind is in the past, what comes up?
All of the things that you probably wish you did differently.
Exactly. You regret about things you could have done better. You're angry about things which happened, which didn't happen, should have happened the way you wanted. Or you're resenting about things, why people did certain things to you, why certain situations happened in life. Or you're guilty about things that you think was your mistake. Now, moment the mind is caught in the past, this is what comes up. All these strong negative emotions like anger, frustration, guilt, resentment, all of these bombard the mind. And the same way, when the mind is in the future, what comes up?
All the things that we possibly fear we cannot accomplish.
Exactly, beautiful. When the mind is in the future, what comes up? It's fear, anxiety, worries. And oscillating between this past and the future, our whole day goes in being angry and regretful about things, or worried and anxious about things which you think may happen to you. And this is what causes maximum stress in our system, and it is the cause of many psychosomatic disorders, many diseases that we face also. Now, this is the first tendency of the mind. So the whole art of living is about how to live in the present. See, past is already dead. There is nothing you can do about it at all. The future is unborn. No matter what you plan, it has a plan of its own. So where is life? Life is happening right now. Wherever you are, this moment is where your life is. So the more and more we learn how to live in the present, the more the mind is free from this past strong negative emotions and free from the future anxieties and worries also. Then there is joy, then there is enthusiasm, then there is focus and concentration to whatever we are doing right now. Now, you know, I usually say that worrying about the future does not take away the problems we may have, but it certainly takes away the strength to deal with them right now. So the whole art of living is about that. How to free this mind which is caught. Now think about it this way. Something happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. The mind is still holding on to it. The mind is so burdened with all these traumas of the past. And that is why in the art of living we say that a stress-free mind, a disease-free body, a trauma-free memory, an inhibition-free intellect, a quiver-free breath, a confusion-free mind, and a sorrow-free soul is the birthright of every human being. So the first thing we need to address to that is causing a lot of stress is this oscillation of the mind in the past and the future. The second thing that we would like to bring your attention also with your viewers as well is that if you look at the tendency of the mind, when the system is stressed, the mind usually clings on to the negative. Now, if I give you 10 compliments and at the end give you just one insult, what would you remember? Just the insult. And not for now, you will keep that in your mind for the next 10, 20 years. If somebody praises you 10 times, oh, you're beautiful, you're lovely, you're so good looking, you know, your hairstyle is amazing, your eyes are so pretty, but you know, had your nose been a bit more straighter, you would have really looked nice. For the next few years, you'll wake up in the morning and look at your nose. The mind has the tendency to cling towards the negative. If you see all the relationships break down, all the communication breakdowns with people, it's only because the mind is clinging on to the negative of the past all the time.
That reminds me of the old adage of the glass being half empty and not half full.
Correct.
In actual fact, it really is half full, but we're just focusing on the half empty. Now, how can we look at our glass as half full?
The best way to look at it is through breath. Now, if you look at it, whenever we are stressed, now to be stressed, it doesn't really mean that you need to go through some traumatic experiences of life. That, of course, cause a massive amount of stress. But stress also can be caused by, say, if somebody have an argument. That argument is enough to cause stress. If you have a disagreement with someone, see, our whole body is like a chemical factory inside. Every moment the body is releasing certain chemicals. Now, when we are stressed, when there is a negative emotion, a negative thought, a negative feeling, the system releases certain toxins, which we call as cortisols or whatever. And these toxins, what they do, they go and settle on our cells itself. And over a period of time, if these toxins are not removed from the cellular system of ours, then they manifest into various diseases. See, now all the psychosomatic disorders like blood pressure, asthma, diabetes, migraine, arthritis, heart problems, allergies, everything is now classified under psychosomatic disorders. That means it is the stress of the mind creating more diseases in the body. How do you get blood pressure? When you get a little more stressed, blood pressure comes up. When you're stressed, you find allergies and rashes coming up on skin. It's amazing. So how do you deal with this stress? How do you deal with these toxins? Dealing with stress is about eliminating these toxins from our system. And the only way you can release these toxins from your system is through breath. This breath has a very powerful, effective way of cleansing our whole internal environment. Now, let me ask you a question. My time. What was the first act of your life when you were born? We took a deep breath in.
Yes, right? We all do, yes.
We take a deep breath in and we start crying. Right?
Yes.
And what is the last act of life?
You take your last breath.
You take a deep breath out and make others cry.
Yes.
Now, our whole life is in between this first breath and the last breath. Wherever breath stops, life also stops there. So where is life? Life is hidden in the secret of the breath alone. So the more we learn skillfully to use our breath, the more our life becomes harmonious. Now, if you look at it this way also, if a fish in the water cries that I'm thirsty, we will laugh at it. How can a fish be thirsty in the water? It's not possible. But same way, as humans, we always complain about lack of energy. We complain about fatigue. We complain about tiredness. We do 6 hours of desk job, 8 hours of desk job. We come home and we have no energy left to do anything. And that is why the relationships suffer these days. Our ability to interact with our social community is growing lesser and lesser and lesser because people are more and more fatigued. They are more and more tired. Now, same way if you look, we are floating in abundance of energy all around us. Yet we have not learned the skill how to take this energy into our system and convert it into life force energy to do our work, be enthusiastic in life.